Kevin J. Johnston, the #1 name. In the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. They vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin knows how to throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J. Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. GST, payroll, all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared,
Hello, everybody. Kevin J. Johnston here. Welcome to the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And tonight's topic is no more capital gains. That is correct. Capital gains are nonsense. They are a complete and total con, and we do not want you being stuck paying capital gains when you don't have to which you just don't have to. We're going to cover all of that over the course of the evening tonight. And as always, it's either going to be the last half hour to an hour in there that we will answer your questions. So if you do have questions, I will not be addressing them until the last half of the show. The show is always 2 hours every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I will address your questions, I promise. As many as we can get through, we will get through. Now, for those who do not know, the CRA has made a policy change, if you will, not a law change, but a policy change. The CRA is a for-profit corporation, so they will change policies, pretty much whenever they want. And we have a number of chartered professional accountants that we know and that we work with, and we do some contractual work with and so on. And they've all shared the same thing. The CRA is now communicating directly with chartered professional accountants and tax lawyers all across the country. Here's what they are doing. They have announced that they will not, under any circumstances, address any personal or corporate tax returns 4 years old or older, which would be a revamping of taxes, until March of next year. That's correct. So if you're doing corporate taxes for 3 years, up to 3 years backwards, they'll accept it because we can do a digital submission to them. Same with personal taxes, but they are not going to be addressing any reworkings of taxes until March. Now, why would that be? Well, number one is this offers them an opportunity to charge you more interest, because they're going to say, yo, taxes from 6 years ago. We know you did your tax return, but we haven't looked at it yet, and we're not going to look at it until March. So we're going to keep charging you interest between now, which is August of 2025, and March of 2026. This is what these scumbags do. They also are, look at it this way. I'm sure everyone knows how construction companies work. Construction companies that work municipally or provincially, or even in the United States, municipally or statewide, they get a budget every year. And if they don't spend their entire budget, then what happens is they get less money in the following year, which is why construction companies will go out of their way to rework and rebuild roads that had absolutely nothing wrong with them 2 weeks earlier. That's what they do, so that they can burn out the budget. Well, the CRA is doing the exact same thing. The CRA will not be addressing people's taxes or corporate taxes until March of next year, if it's 4 years or further back that you're redoing, because they themselves, just like construction companies, get federal grant money to operate. So in March, that's when they start giving all the money away. So if you've done a tax return, or we've done it for you and we're getting your money back, you're not going to get your money back until March, April, May, or June of next year. That's just what the CRA is doing. And they literally told CPAs and tax accountants this. Now, here's where I've got the biggest problem with it all. We know the CRA is a criminal cartel. We know that they are crooks. They're crooked as anyone could possibly be. What bothers me the most is all the private companies out there, all of them, the accountants, the CPAs, the bookkeepers, and the tax lawyers. They now know what I've just told you, because they got the communication directly from the CRA. And you know what? They're not telling their clients this. I am. I'm telling all of you this, and I'm telling you all of this for free. So you've got accountants and lawyers that are going back 5-10 years on your taxes. They are not telling you that the CRA is not even going to look at them until March. Yeah, this is a very big problem with accountants and tax lawyers in Canada. So who are you going to trust? The guy who tells you this stuff for free, or the ones who don't tell you at all? This is CRA's newest policy to make sure that they keep your money as long as they possibly can, to earn as much interest on it for as long as they possibly can. and not pay you until it's time for them to throw away the excess funds so they get more operating budget in the following year. You know, there's another institution in Canada that operates exactly the same way. That's the Children's Aid Society. They'll go out of their way at the end of the year, more towards November and December, to kidnap children, like to say, oh, we're going to remove the kids because we don't think you're good parents. Why? Because in January, the number of kids that they've put into their system, they have to get funding for each one of those individual kids. So the more kids they remove from homes in November and December and whatnot, the more money that they get. This is how the CRA functions. This is how all these agencies operate. And the worst part about the CRA is that they're just a private company, essentially. They're a corporation. And the Children's Aid Societies right across Canada are just not-for-profit corporations. You know, they actually can't take your kids without a court order. That's right. You can stop them right there on the spot, beat the hell out of them, and save your children from going into that system. Why would you want to save them from going into the system? Because they are, you know what? Is it PE3DOs? Is that what we call them? Because we can't actually say the word on social media anymore. And the CRA are criminals. At least we can say that. Thieves, liars, charlatans, dissimulators. There's a big word for the day. They are all of the above. And at least I can call the CRA out where I can't call the other agencies out. I hate social media sometimes. I truly, truly do. That is your CRA newsflash. So what does this mean for us now as a corporation? Let me tell you. And again, I'm the only one that comes out and tells the truth. We have elected, and of course, I'm in charge, so it wasn't really an election. It was me making a statement. But the staff agreed, the whole team agreed, that we're not going to be taking on corporate tax work anymore. It's pointless. I'm not going to take your money to the tune of up to $15,000 per tax year and not be able to guarantee you that you're going to get money back. We will get you money back on paper, but the CRA still has to accept it. So I would actually recommend all of you out there, do not allow any accountants or tax lawyers to do your corporate taxes anymore. We've decided that we're just going to buy everybody's corporation. If you have any tax problems with your corporation at all in Canada, we're buying it. You know why? Because your tax problem is gone in between 3 and 5 days. We're going to get you into a brand new numbered corporation wherever you happen to be in the country. You're going to start over with zero debt. And if you follow my training during our consultation, you will never file a tax return nor a GST return again for the rest of your lives through that new corporation, and keep every single solitary penny of what you make. All right. So that's me coming out and telling you the truth. And the truth is, we simply cannot take your money in good conscience and do corporate taxes for you. The CRA is not going to allow anyone to get your money back, at least until March. I am disgusted by what they are doing. Disgusted in its entirety. And yes, paying anywhere between $5,000 and $20,000 to a tax lawyer per tax year is about right. Tax lawyers are charging everyone a lot of money, and tax lawyers are not getting anything done because tax lawyers are terrified of the CRA. There is a tax law firm in Toronto. They've been running radio ads for a very long time. Diogardi Tax Lawyers. And what they say is that you have your accountant can be called to testify against you in court. Now, if the CRA actually sued you and took you to court, they could subpoena your accountant to testify against you. But the CRA doesn't do that. And that's what Diogardi tax law doesn't tell you. They're trying to frighten you into hiring them to do your taxes. So sure, a tax lawyer does grant you client-solicitor privilege relationship, but so do I, because Clause 15 of the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights says you can select anyone you want to represent you against the CRA. And the CRA has told me that I can no longer represent people, but they didn't get a court order for that. They have no way of stopping me from doing so. So we're going to be hitting them with a very big lawsuit coming soon. And stay tuned. I'm willing to bet that when I serve them, they're probably not even going to file a defense. You watch. The CRA is not going to want to go up against me in court. I'll keep you apprised. Okay. We're going to keep you apprised. Good news is, though, that we've had 2 of our clients sue the CRA, and the CRA did file a defense on the absolute last day that they could file a defense. The CRA told my clients, Kevin J. Johnston cannot represent you. Fine. Then all we do is abide by the law, everybody. The client made me a shareholder in his company. And in that shareholders agreement, I am legal representation for that corporation. There's nothing the CRA can do to stop me from representing a company that I am a shareholder of. Isn't that amazing? To recap, we don't do corporate taxes anymore. It's pointless. The CRA is not going to give you back your money. We're just going to buy your corporation, take all your debt, get you into a brand new corporation, and you get to carry on with life. Okay, everyone? Forget all the accountants out there. Forget the CPAs out there. Forget the tax lawyers out there. They are simply not going to tell you the truth about what the CRA is doing. And believe me, listen, folks, with us making this decision, I didn't make this decision lightly, because I'm actually now interfering with my own capacity to make a living. We make good money on corporate taxes. We truly do make very good money doing corporate taxes. The problem, I guess, for myself is that I actually like human beings and I have a conscience. So that is why we have decided not to do corporate tax work anymore. I would just be taking your money and you would not be getting anything in return. Not because of us, but because of the CRA. Alrighty. So for everyone who's got questions, everybody, please hold the questions off until the last hour of the show. Alrighty. Moving on here. I did a video. I was right downtown Panama City in the banking district. And I made a video just holding the phone out, talking about capital gains. You do not have to report capital gains in Canada. You don't have to pay capital gains in Canada. Just, quiet about your capital gains. Then I read all the comments on that video, which got something crazy like 400,000 views. And that video had so many people saying, you're crazy, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, you have to pay capital gains, you have to pay tax, you have to. Isn't it crazy that everyone says you have to? The 2 things I hate the most are you can't do that and you have to do that. Everybody says these 2 things. And I think last episode I might have reflected on something. I don't know if you've all seen the movie Time Cop. It's okay. It's a fun thing to watch. But the actor, I forget his name, he's one of the best movie villains ever. He wants to be president of the United States, and he's utilizing a time machine to make money, to become president. And his sniveling little assistant says that when the presidential candidate announces he's going to go back in time and buy land and sell it, this plebe says, you can't do that. And the president guy just takes his head and smashes it against the inside of the window of the limousine that they are in. And the guy tells him, don't you ever tell me what I can't do again. And I'm thinking, you know what? I wish we could do that all the time when people are saying, you can't do that. You can't hide your capital gains. You can't dodge taxes because I pay my taxes. So because I do it, you should do it too. You have to pay your taxes. You can't do that, but you have to do that. I'm tired of it. It is disgusting when adults say these things. So the point that I want to get to here is I made a follow-up video telling people that I was told by many that I'm going to go to jail because I don't pay capital gains tax. I don't even report it. Why would I? I've sold a lot of properties in Canada, and by no means have I ever reported those capital gains, and I am not going to. I tell the CRA all the time, I am not cooperating with you in any way. I'm exercising my right under the Income Tax Act, Section 2311, that states that I don't have to comply with a damn thing, and I'm not going to. You're not paying me to do taxes, so I'm not doing it. Anybody out there that wants me to do something, here's how you get me to do something. Number 1, be someone I like. Be cool. No, be all right. If you ask me to do something simple, like help you lift a TV into your condo, sure. I mean, I'll do that. But I'm not going to lend you $100,000. All right. Number two, be a dynamite looking lady who's a traditional woman that treats me very well. I guarantee you, you're getting at least one meal paid for in some fancy restaurant once a week. Okay. That's how you get something out of me in that way. Next is you can pay me to do it and I'll do it. You can hire me. We enter into a contract where you pay me to do a job for you and I do that job. The next one would be point a loaded weapon at me. So long as you've got the gun pointing at me, sure, you're in charge and you'll probably get what you want. I'll delay it. It'll be very half-assed, but you'll get it. God help you if I'm the one with the gun next time. But yes. And the last one would be get a court order. But I'm not really going to obey a Canadian court order. I am going to appeal it. No matter what you get in the way of a court order, I'm going to appeal it. You're not going to compel me to do anything that I don't want to do without compensating me for my time. And all of you out there need to approach life in the exact same way. The CRA wants something from you and they're not going to pay you to do it. Don't do it. If they want you to give them information, don't do it. You're not obligated to answer anyone's questions. You have the right to remain silent. So please, shh. Now, the point of all of this is that there have been a couple of individuals when I did my follow-up video on not paying capital gains is individuals would play my video and then state that I'm wrong. Don't listen to anything this guy has to say. So we're going to play a video now. And when we play this video, I'll discuss it a little bit with you as to why the individual in question is wrong. In this first video, I know you're not going to see it on TikTok or on Instagram, but you are going to hear it. I've got the speaker cranked here. This is an Indian man, wears a turban, is wearing a dress shirt, and he has the following to say. Here we go. I made a video about capital gains, telling all of you in Canada that you don't have to pay it. You don't even legally have to report it.
Do yourself a favor. Don't listen to this guy. Anyone in Canada, if you are selling a house, you owe HST rebate to CRA or you owe personal taxes and you're not paying it back, it's not going to go well. You do have to report capital gain taxes and always listen to your own accountant rather than a person who on TikTok is telling you not to report capital gain taxes or any other advice. Take it with a grain of salt. Anything you listen on TikTok might be true, might not be true. You always have to do your own due diligence. Even if I'm saying if me as a mortgage expert, mortgage broker, if we are guiding you something, yes, we are doing our due diligence. We are telling you the truth, but you must do your own due diligence. It is very critical. It is very important not to fall for such scams like these guys who are telling you not to report your capital gain taxes and it's going to be okay. CRA won't come after you. Not going to happen. CRA will find you. You can run, but you can't hide forever. CRA will catch you.
Yeah, CRA will catch you. CRA hired 30,000 absolutely incompetent people who don't speak English. CRA is not going to find you. CRA doesn't know anything until you tell them on your tax return. This guy, he's just trying to capitalize on what I've done. And listen, I want to say thank you to everybody on Instagram and on TikTok. I've had to start Instagram over like 15 or so times. I think we're at 26,000 followers now, and we're at 73,000 up here on TikTok. So thank you for everybody following me there. They're trying to capitalize on what I am saying because my videos are in some cases breaking 500,000. That's not bragging. It's just the way it is. And truthfully speaking, I still don't know how the algorithm works because some of my better videos than that only get 5,000 views. So if anyone knows how the algorithm works, let me know, huh? I'd like them all to have 500,000 views. This guy's name is Surpreet Beweja. Let's call him. Let's give him a call right now. Let's see what he's got to say for himself. That's a bit loud. Calling 416-8.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have
Let's try again. Let's try this again. Let's try again. Maybe he's watching the show. Maybe you never know. Maybe he's watching the show. So he's at 416-854-3340. He's calling me a scammer. Let's see if he's going to answer the phone and maybe debating on it. I mean, that would be the best thing to do. Do you not think? Let's have a bit of a debate. You can tell me why I'm wrong. And
Hello?
hi, looking for Sir Preet, please.
Yeah, speaking. Who's this?
Hi, Sir Preet. How you doing? It's just about taxes. It's all about taxes. Apparently, you are a capital gains expert. Is that correct?
I can be.
You can be. What does that
Okay,
mean?
can I call you back? I'm just in the middle of the meeting. Can you leave me a message and I can call you back?
No, actually, I just need like 30 seconds of your time. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. I'm sure you know who I am. You're indicating that I was incorrect when I made the statement publicly that you do not have to pay capital gains. Could you maybe clarify what that means?
I'm really in the middle of the meeting. Can you message me?
No, you're not in the middle of the meeting. No, I'm more important than your meeting. What did you mean by that? That you have to pay capital gains? What does that mean? He hung up. Wow. He has no manners at all. Well, I guess all of you can call this guy. Again, it's 416-854-3340. And you can ask this Sir Preet guy why he feels that I am a scammer when I'm telling all of you that you don't have to pay capital gains. Look, I'm coming at everybody right now with information. And believe me, I've got this great slideshow to show you tonight, which I will be reading out loud to everybody on the other platforms who cannot see the slideshow. And for everybody watching on TikTok, Kick, and Instagram, if you want to see the replay and see the slideshow, just type in freedomreport.ca in your browser. You will come to my Rumble channel where all of my tax videos are currently residing. Now, some of you asked me to look up this guy named Mario for the North, I think it is. Bald guy. He talks about Canadian politics a lot. So he did the same thing where he plays a little bit of my video and then he makes an exceptionally inaccurate statement. Here we go. I made a video about capital gains telling all of you in Canada that you don't have to pay it. You don't even legally have to report it. Now that video got over 450,000 views and about 2,000 overtly negative comments, people telling me to enjoy my time in prison and to enjoy my audit. Well,
I think you guys should all do yourself a favor and do not believe a single word that comes out of his mouth. You have to pay taxes, period. Now, I don't know if it's a crime or not to tell people to evade taxes and not pay their capital tax gains, because his logic is no one's ever been arrested for it, so you're good, bro. No, just no. Please, please, please do not evade taxes. It will not go well for you. I truly believe that that is the perfect definition of misinformation, lies, BS, all in order to monetize you. Someone is selling you online courses, advice, any sort of digital product or anything where you can get rich quick. Take it with a grain of salt, my friends. Please, please do not fall for this. I'm trying to help you.
He's trying to help you. You have to pay taxes, period. But he's trying to help you. So he then follows it up with an even stranger video where he's lying down in bed like this. I couldn't believe he said what he's going to say in this next video. Here we go.
It's been years since I've been audited, and I own a dozen companies. I literally mean years. In the last 3 months, I've been audited twice now. Why do you think that is? It's a good thing I keep my books clean. I do everything by the book. I got nothing to hide.
I do everything by the book. So first he says that he hasn't been audited in years. But then he says he owns 12 companies and he's been audited twice in 3 months and everything's great and I cooperate fully with the CRA because I got nothing to hide. Well, let me tell you this, everybody. All of you have something to hide. Let me just give you some prime examples of what I'm talking about. Hands up, how many of you are on Tinder or Grindr or Match or anything else? All right. Is that anyone else's business but your own? If you're on those platforms, you have something to hide. How many of you have bank accounts? Hands up. How many? And you've got money in those accounts, right? Okay, hands up. And you've got a bank card and a PIN number, correct? Well, then you've got something to hide. All right. Your body fat percentage. What is it? Is that my business? Is that your business? It's nobody's business. You've got something to hide. Your children's names. If you have kids, are you going to share your children's names and birth dates and ages and their photographs with the world? You've got something to hide. If you have a family, you've got something to hide. You have everything to hide. It is nobody's business what you have. And regardless of how well you keep your books in your own corporation, you are not in any way, shape, or form legally obligated to cooperate with an auditor from the CRA. They're not cops. And even if they were cops, they'd have to get a friggin' warrant, an actual warrant. And to enter your house, it would have to be a Feeney warrant. And a Feeney warrant is one that allows them to go into your home and arrest you if they know you're hiding inside the house. Because a regular warrant for your arrest does not grant them permission to enter your property. And auditors never get warrants because they can't. What are they going to do? Go to a judge in the superior court of the province and say, I am an auditor. I'm a loser who works for the CRA, and I want to go inside of somebody's house and finger through their personal property. The judge is going to say, like, what is this, a crime? Are you going there with a police officer? Do you have an open investigation with a set police force? He's going to say no. So Mario, whoever this Mario guy is, and whoever the brown guy is that I called there on the phone, they want to tell you everything that is exactly opposite what is true. And they're telling you that what I'm saying is incorrect because reasons. The Indian guy wants your business. All right, that's what he wants. I'm not sure what Mario wants because he doesn't seem to be selling anything on his TikTok channel or his Instagram channel. He's just making social commentary, which is fine. And there's a lot of stuff that he said that's pretty accurate. But to tell you that you have to pay taxes, period, and then to tell you that he's got nothing to hide with his teeth sticking out like this, anyone who says you've got nothing to hide has got a problem. Oh, look at this. The wealthy peasant says he sells knives. Well, then he definitely has something to hide. You know, because the cops in Canada don't like people who make knives or swords or are gunsmiths or whatnot. I mean, you remember that Toronto police drove all the way to Niagara Falls and executed a man who was a gunsmith for the Ontario Provincial Police because the guy had overheard some of the crimes the cops had committed. That's correct. Toronto police drove through Peel region, Halton region, and into Niagara region, 3 different police forces. They were completely outside their jurisdiction, walk into a man's barn and executed him because he was a gunsmith. You have everything to hide. Everything. Don't ever think that you are a morally superior person by making the stupid statement that you've got nothing to hide. I'm going to cooperate with the police because I have nothing to hide. You know, the cops from time to time, they will lie. They go door to door to door saying, oh, there was a sexual assault victim in this area. We're doing DNA tests on everybody. We need you to prove your innocence. Let me just swab your mouth. Like, if they had any evidence, they just arrest you. But people say, oh, I've got nothing to hide. It wasn't me. Ho, 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 ho. Now your DNA is on file because you have nothing to hide. You know, when the cops knock on the door, just don't answer the door. Stop cooperating with government, everybody. It is ridiculous. And After seeing some of Mario's videos, realizing he is pretty correct on his anti-government stance, for him to come out and be anti-government and then be pro-government by telling you to do taxes is weird. It's weird. It's a strange stance to have. And for those who are wondering, I am currently live. It is right now 8:35 p.m. Central Time, 9:35 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the 5th of August of 2025. And we are live every single Tuesday here, and here. There we go. So, everyone, now you know about other people's takes on capital gains. Let's talk about what a capital gain is. Real easy. You buy a house and you live in it and then you sell it. You don't pay any tax when you sell it because it is your primary residence. But you buy a second house and you rent it out. And if you're really dumb, you will tell the CRA, hi, we have a rental house. Now they know you have a second property. Oh, and we rent it out and here's the money that we make on it. Well, now they know you make money. So now the CRA is got all this on your file, and now they're going to be expecting a capital gain at some point in the future because you told them. But you still, now you're going to hear what I've got to say, you still don't have to tell them. When you're filling out your tax return, there's always a line 12,700 on your tax return. You just leave it blank. Just leave it blank. Now we're going to cover all of this. All right. So let's stick around here. Let's have a bit of fun. First slide is this. I'm using the example of your rental house purchase price. Your second property purchase price is $650,000. And then you sell it a couple of years later for $1,200,000. The total profit is $550,000. The commission to the realtor in this case is about $60,000, which means that your total profit after the realtor gets paid is $490,000. And the CRA wants half of that profit. Half. Because they say, which would be $245,000. Now, the question I've got for everybody out there is, hands up, how many of you out there want to give away $245,000 after you bought the house, you got the mortgage, you maintained it, and you got to put up with the crap that your tenants put you through? And then the nonsense of the crap to sell it, and the crap with the lawyer after all this nonsense. Like, do you really want to part with $245,000? I mean, even Canadian, that's 190 US. You can buy a beautiful 2-bedroom condominium here in Panama with an ocean view. Never mind. It's a lot of money. You can change your life with that amount of money. And the CRA says, no, but you have to give it to us. They got their hand out. Here, give it to us. So let's go back now to the example. That's how a bad accountant will do this. A bad accountant will just go ahead and report the capital gain. But then we do it Kevin J. Johnston style. So here we go. Same thing. House, it's your secondary property. You bought it for $650,000. You sold it for $1.2 million. But now we got to put some expenses in there. All right. So painting the exterior, $8,400. Painting the interior, $6,645. This is where you would be hiring me as your house consultant, by the way. I may or may not actually do the work, but you're getting an invoice for it. I promise you that. All righty. Next, we're going to do plumbing inspection. Just an inspection, $2,654.21, followed by an electrical inspection for $3,698.52. But we're not done. We're also going to do a floor inspection for $6,420.99 and a driveway inspection where I guess what we'll do is get I don't know, a dog and smell it, make sure the asphalt's good. I'm going to look at it. We'll step on it, make sure it's strong. $14,689.29. But we're not done yet. We're not done. See, bad accountants won't do this. We're going to inspect your lawn for $444,044 plus 44 cents, of course. We're going to inspect the bricks on your house for $5,555.55. And we're not done yet because we still have to inspect the roof for $6,666.66, along with a ceiling inspection looking for mold and cracks for $7,777.77. But I'm still not done. We're going to do kitchen dark fishing. Yes, exactly as it sounds. We're going to dark fish your kitchen for $8,888.88. Then we're going to leave the kitchen and we're going to go into your living room where we perform living room hydro dogging. Yeah, for $9,999.99. When we're done with the hydro dogging of your living room, we're then going to go into your basement and we will perform basement dragon egging for $12,222.22. I'm still not done. We will then go into your master bedroom where we are going to perform duck launching for $13,069.32. We're still not done. All right. Then we're going to call my good friend Billy Bob Bing Wing Ding Ching Dong Fong Shlong. He lives in Hong Kong. And what he is going to do is jump onto a Zoom call with you. And he's going to, get into the groove, and he's going to provide some feng shui through the internet to you. And that's going to be $150,000. I mean, may as well, right? Let's get the feng shui going for that. Then we're going to sausage your carpets. All right. The sausaging of carpets is an additional $69.69. Yeah, that's a childish number. I know. Don't bother to point that out. Followed by, then there's me, okay? There's me, everybody. And I think what I forgot to mention, everybody, is this is a magic spoon, all right? So for all you Harry Potter fans, magic is real. This is a magic spoon, and what happens here is when you apply it to the rear end of a good-looking lady, it makes it really loud, followed by an ah, and that's magic as far as I'm concerned. And with this magic wand that I've never used on anyone's buttocks ever, I swear to God, you know how things are. I'm going to go woo like this, and I'm going to charge you $250,000 because now I have blessed your entire house with my magical spoon here. And that, everybody, is what takes us to the last of the expenses, which is marketing for $50,000, which means on the house that you sold for $1.2 million, your total profit with all these expenses is minus $21,205.53. Then the realtor gets their cut for $60,000, which means your profit is minus $81,202.53, which means your capital gain is $0.00. And we're going to say it in French, zero. That's it. We could even say it in Spanish. $0. That is correct. You do not owe anything. And what's really cool with all of what we have just gone through there, you can take that minus $80,000 plus of debt, of actual capital loss, and move it towards a capital gain that you have in the future. And this is the difference between me and everybody else who does taxes in Canada, is that just in case you did want to do a capital gain report, I would do this exact thing for you. All right. We're going to feng shui your house. We're going to magic wand your house. I promise I will not spank anyone's wife. I promise. Unless, of course, you pay me to. And the invoice is going to ensure that you have a capital loss. You got to have the capital loss, everybody. And that's only if you're going to report. I still highly recommend that you do not report. And for those who are wondering if this is going to be available after the recording is done, yes, everybody, please type in www.freedomreport.ca in the chats, and that is going to take you directly to my Rumble channel, where I have about 1,650 videos archived there. There you go. So yes, feng shui is 150 grand, everyone. If you want some feng shui, yeah, let me know. Thank you for the hat. Greatly appreciate that. So everybody, we now have to cover a little bit more about capital gains here. We can always turn a capital gain into a capital loss. That is not going to be a problem at all. But let's see here now what some accountants believe to be true. Capital gains in Canada are reported on line 12,700 of the T1 general tax return, if you choose to. Only 50% of your total capital gain, the taxable capital gain, is included in income unless a different inclusion rate applies. For example, special property or transitional rules. Now, the question I would have is, what's the point? Because as soon as you put something on that line, you got to put stuff on other lines. You know, it's easier just to say, I don't answer questions, than to answer a question and have that question lead to someone asking you more questions. So much easier to just not do it. Followed by, you also complete Schedule 3 of capital gains or losses to provide the details of each disposition. For example, real estate, stocks, or other investments. Again, why? We do not want to tell the CRA what we make. We don't want to tell them what we've lost. It is none of their concern at all. But like I said, if you answer one line, you got to keep answering lines down below. All righty, let's keep going here. If you're claiming exemptions, such as your principal residence, lifetime capital gains exemption, you can also use forms like T2091IND or the T657. So what's wrong with using the that particular form? What I will do now is I'm going to show you what the problem is with this form. Let me load this thing up right now. This is an absolutely ridiculous document. I'm floored that anybody would ever want to fill this stupid thing out. So here we go. I'm going to share the screen with you here. And for those, I know you're not going to see it, so I'm going to have to describe it to you on TikTok and on Instagram. But I'm going to be able to show it here on Rumble. So here we go. This is what the form looks like. It's called Calculation of Capital Gains Deduction. For those who cannot see, it is a 27-page document. Have a look at this. Before you start, rules. Capital gains deduction limit, rules. And then there's life or the year of disposition of the property, more rules. Followed by page 2, qualified farm or fishing property. Screw you. Look at all these rules. Followed by allocation and designation of capital gains from QFFP and QKKK by a trust, more rules. So you have to learn CRA's rules. Oh, sorry, folks. I realize you can't see that. Hold on. What's going on here? There we go. So you have all these rules the CRA wants you to follow. You'd have to actually learn these rules before you could actually even start doing the tax return, which is positively ridiculous. Nobody should have to waste their time learning these rules. They're not your rules. Now we go to page 3 here, calculation of capital gains. It's the first one. Look at this. The total of lines 10684, 10686, and 10688 of Schedule 3. You're supposed to know what that means and put a number on the right side of the page. Total amount from line 15 of Form T2017. You're supposed to know what that means and put that number in the right column. Total of lines 10,700, 11,000, and 12,400 of Schedule 3. You're supposed to know what that means and put a number on the right side of the page. Total amount from lines 30 and 33 from T2017. You know, isn't it easier just to like not do this? It's just easier to not be involved. I'm going to keep going down the thing here. Calculate your cumulative gains for 2024. And you got what, 1992 and 93 eligible gains? Total amount from line 3 in part 1 of Form T657 or Form T657A for 1992 and 1993. And there's more of those for 1994, 95, 96, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002 to 2024. Wow. And that's just page 4. That's just page 4, everybody. We got more. Page 5, it's a questionnaire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 15 questions. Followed by page 6 now, chart 2015 capital gains deduction, part 1, qualified farmer fishing property and qualified small business corporation shares. What the hell does that mean? Does the average person know? Of course they don't know. And how would they know? Why would they know? You shouldn't know this stuff. Accountants don't know this stuff. Tax lawyers don't know this stuff. Then we're on page 7. Maximum capital gains deduction for QFFP disposed of after April 20th, 2015, but before 2016. And somehow they've got 500 grand filled out there. Then you're supposed to know what the hell that means and answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more questions on page 7. We got 20 more to go. Oh, whoa. You know, I'm just quickly scanning through these ridiculous things now. Page 10, chart 2017 capital gains deduction. More questions. Look at this one. Amount from line 6 of 4T2017 do not include reserves from dispositions of QFFP in any year other than 2017 if negative, show in brackets. How about just get lost? How about, hey, CRA, go to hell, I'm not doing this. And you'd have to pay somebody handsomely to do this. And all of this stuff, this 27 pages of crap, is entirely your fault if you fill out line 12,700 on your tax return to report a capital gain. It just keeps going. Look at this, page 15, more questions, 16, more questions, 17, more questions, 18, more questions, 19, questions, 20 questions, 21 questions, 22 questions, 23, yeah, questions, you better believe it, 24 questions, page 25, questions, page 26. Oh man, oh my God. Okay, this one here is even crazier. Calculate your net capital losses of other years. Then there's like rules for 1992, 93, 94, 95. What is all this? What is all this? Moving on, page 27. Now you have to calculate all of your capital gains and all your capital losses. So imagine how much money you're going to be paying somebody to do all this for you. I think about, oh, here we go. Wait, and here I am. And there we go. I'm back. So think about how much money you're going to pay for someone to do this. The CRA wants you to pay someone to do all of this work for them to be able to take your money, and they're not offering you any compensation for your time to do this work. You know, every other government agency out there, when they force you to do something, they compensate you for it. Even burial. You are forced to, at least, if you can't afford to bury a loved one, you get a $2,500 check from the provincial government to cremate your loved one, because you can't bury people wherever you want. You can't have bodies all over the place. The cops would go nuts doing investigations on people who've died of natural causes. So they say you must not bury a body on your yard. You must dispose of it this way. They actually compensate you for it. They give you money. I used to do a stand-up comedy routine about the fact that, listen, my father died. I found a discount cremation center. Cost me only $1,300. The government gave me $2,500. That's a surplus of $1,200. My God, I can't wait for my aunt, my uncle, my other aunt, my other uncle, and 3 of my cousins to die. Look how much money I could make. You know, think about the amount of dough one could make if, you just threw the body in the garbage. Now, people were going, it's a bit macabre, but think about that. The CRA is telling you that you shall do these tax returns, and they're not compensating you for your time. So I want you just to be a little bit more realistic about everything here. When you're doing your tax return, please, even if you do have a capital gain, do not fill out line 12,700, because then you have to fill out the form that's 27 pages long. And then I promise you, even if it's done 100% correctly, they will assess a different amount because they can. Okay? Save yourself the headache and all the effort. Let's move on. I got more slides to go through here. So this is what ChatGPT says to me. ChatGPT says, how important is it to file capital gains? It says, extremely important. Here's the reasons. Capital gains are treated as taxable income at the 50% inclusion rate, and a failure to report can lead to penalties. CRA can charge a penalty of 10% of the unreported amount for the repeated failure, which you would appeal. Interest, daily compounded interest on unpaid taxes, which we would appeal. Reassessment window, normally CRA can reassess 3 years back, but failure to report capital gains can extend this to 6 years, which we would appeal. Gross negligence penalties up to 50% of the understated tax if CRA believes the omission was intentional or careless, which again, we would appeal and probably file fraud charges against the individual representative. Criminal charges. Yeah, of course. In severe cases, the CRA can pursue tax evasion charges, which carry fines and possible jail time. And let's cover this. This is the most important thing now. There have been, maybe I could get everyone to guess. How many Canadians in the history of Canada have been charged criminally for not reporting capital gains, gone to court, and being convicted? How many? Go on, take a crack, stab in the dark. I'll give you a couple of seconds here. Do. It's one. It's one. One human being in all of Canadian history has been arrested and convicted, and he didn't even go to trial. It was a plea bargain. They couldn't even set a precedent in the court because the guy did not take it to trial, which he should have done. So let me just read the information on that, if I could. Notable enforcement action in real estate capital gains. Balkar Bhular of Richmond, BC, in a high-profile CRA enforcement case linked directly to real estate property flipping, Bhular was convicted under the Income Tax Act. He failed to report approximately $7.485 million of income tax from assignment fees earned on flipping 14 properties in between 2011 and 2014, thus evading over $2.15 million in federal taxes. He pleaded guilty in August of 2023, was sentenced December 19th, 2024 to a conditional sentence of 2 years less 1 day and fined $2,153,000. He also owes the full capital gains tax, interest, and penalties, which bankruptcy would prevent him from having to pay, which being broke would also prevent him from having to pay because he doesn't have to pay that. I'm proof of it. There's been $11 million of judgments against me in the courts. I haven't paid a penny. Not one penny. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay judgments. All right? Think about that. Remember during the COVID nonsense where that judge said that I had to pay Alberta Health Services a $20,000 fine? I paid zero. I'll say it in French, zero. And I'll say it in Spanish, zero. All right? Nothing. And this guy who got 2 years less a day as a suspended sentence means he doesn't go to jail. He does not go to jail. He gets to go home and go to work and do whatever. There would probably be some restrictions, like he may not be able to flip houses in that time. But they say 2 years less a day because that way, if he was to screw up on his conditions, then he would spend time in a provincial jail as opposed to a federal prison. That's how that would work. Then we just have to address this one quick thing here. A lot of you ask me this question all of the time. What about the $1.25 million exemption for lifetime on capital gains? Well, let's cover that one. We just covered that stupid form that you have to fill out. And what the CRA is going to try to tell you, everybody, is that you can make $1.25 million of capital gain earnings over your entire lifetime. But in order to qualify for that, you've got to fill that form out I just showed you every single year. Every year. It's better just to not report capital gains because you just don't have to at all. Oh, and I know the CRA is watching right now. I don't know if you remember me bragging about this, but in 2021, I was in the big casino right downtown Calgary, and I put $10,000. I was desperate. I put $10,000 down on black in roulette, and I won. And I took all the chips and I cashed them out and I left. I made 10 grand in 30 seconds. Never paid tax on it. Is that an earning? Is it not? Well, whatever it is, I'm certainly not going to declare a $10,000 lucky bet on roulette. Not now and not ever. Oh, and in the casino this past Saturday, I won $10. Yeah, I played blackjack for over an hour. I went up and I went down. I went up and I went down. By the time I cashed out, I was plus $10. Yeah. So will I report that to the CRA? Yeah, probably not. Oh, by the way, I actually ended up losing $2 on the deal because when you cash in your chips at the casino, they take a $12 service fee. So I lost $2. Is that a capital loss? Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I'm still not going to report it. Period. Nor should any of you. There we are. And no, wealthy peasant, I've never won money playing rock, paper, and scissors. Has never happened. I think it's a retarded game. It's like tic-tac-toe. It's all luck. There's no skill, and I'm not interested. All right, everyone. So that's capital gains. I've been criticized highly by a few folks in reference to not my belief, but my knowledge that you do not have to cooperate with the CRA in any way. It's your house. No matter how many you own, no matter how many you flip, keep the money. But also remember, everybody, if you have your houses and your rental properties in numbered corporations, you never have to worry about these capital gains things ever, ever, ever again. Let's call this guy one more time. This Sandeep, whatever his name was. Let's see if we can reach this guy here. Let's try him one more time. Come on. Is it going to ring? It's ringing. Oh, Surpreet. Beweja. Come on, buddy. Answer the phone. Answer the phone. Answer the phone. Come on, buddy. Oh, come on.
Your call has been forwarded.
Oh, no, don't do that. That's rude. Let's try again. Let's call him again. And paste the phone number. Make a phone call. Wealthy Peasant says he's busy at the rub and tug. Conceivably. He's not the best looking guy. See what happens here. Come on. Dude, real. Answer the phone. How can you find the highest interest for money? Right now it's Mexico, 12%. They'll pay 12% on anything over $2,000 that you invest. Come on, dude.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
Okay, so we know that everybody who wants to criticize me online, they don't really believe what they say about me. They couldn't possibly believe what they're saying about me, and that's okay. It just simply doesn't matter. Now, it's Q&A time, everybody. It is question and answer time. Let's have a look at what your questions are. I see that Rumble has absolutely lit up tonight. People are asking me where Ed is. That's Ed Janisek, who was my co-host on the show for years. Ed runs his own show called The Lounge on Wednesday nights. So feel free to watch Ed and Stefanos, where they continue to tackle international politics. All right, so let's have a look here. Fit Chick says, I want you to open up 2 numbered corporations for me, one being a holding company and the other where I do business. I don't want to wait till September to get it done due to my wait list. We don't make anybody wait at all to get corporations registered. If you wanted to shoot over to the website, just put down you want to buy corporations. And on the contact form, I'm going to get a hold of you tomorrow morning. The good news is actually I've got a couple of my staff landing in they've already landed. So they're here in Panama now. It's pretty exciting times. We're making more than enough money to start flying all over the place and getting things done fast. I've also got a couple of clients down here. So something tells me I'm playing golf tomorrow. That's just the thing to do. Keep going. And for those who care, I suck at golf. So if you're taking me out for a game of golf, I might irritate you, mainly because my driver, 3-wood, and 7-iron all go the exact same distance. I'm not bad at putting, but I suck with the wedge. So I irritate people when I golf because I usually shoot about 106 on the par 3 course. All right. Back to your questions. Rumble. All right. So Zenman 5074, you're asking if I no longer do personal tax. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show tonight, we're putting personal taxes on hold for now. Anyone who has paid us to do personal tax, we're going to get those complete for you. But we're going to hold off on personal taxes only because we have to wait and see what the CRA is going to do with the new policies that they are launching later this week and early next week. Also, we're building an AI system. So we have an AI system in place come January 1st that will do your taxes for you. That is correct. Our website will do your taxes for you. And guess whose moral and ethical code is being programmed into that AI system? Would it be mine perchance? Yeah, it's my knowledge base that's going to be in that AI system. So hold off, everybody. We're not walking away from personal tax. We just right now need to get the AI system in place to get them done faster. And I still do not know what the CRA is changing this week. We're going to find that out. All righty. So the JAB said you're not doing corporate returns anymore. Look, could everybody please relax? Anybody who's paid us to do anything is going to get what they paid for. We're not taking on new corporate tax clients. Not to do corporate taxes because, like I said at the beginning of the show, the CRA is not looking at anybody's corporate taxes until March of next year, which means I cannot, in good conscience, take your money, do your taxes, and then have you receive no benefit from that. Which is why we're now going to buy everybody's corporation. If you've got corporate taxes that you want to get done, it's cheaper just to sell me your corporation, walk away from the debt. We'll register a brand new one for you. And from there, you are golden to start doing business immediately. All right. That's what is going on. Nobody panic. We will still finish all the open jobs. All right. Next. More questions here. How much do I owe? I mean, how much do I owe people in general? Well, like I said, the Canadian government doesn't like me very much. So whenever hardcore terrorist funders would sue me, they would win, because if I was to win the lawsuit, then what that would do is call international attention to the fact that money laundering was being done through Toronto and my hometown of Mississauga and so on. And the judges are all in on it in Canada. Every single judge is on the take in Canada. And they do not want me, little old me, exposing their corruption there and so on. So they would make me lose in court. It's like $11 million. And I haven't paid a penny. And I'm not going to. Not ever. There we go. Is it safe to put my money in a Mexican bank for higher interest? Yes, it is. But, stick with the big banks. Mexico, even though they've got a hardcore left-wing loser president right now, they still have a banking system that operates independent of the president. And if the banks are going to be offering that kind of money, then yes, I would jump on it. In fact, I'm heading over to Mexico shortly myself, specifically to open up bank accounts there and earn 12 points. Why would I not want to do that? Am I on WhatsApp, Chantal? Yes, I am. I am not on Signal, and I do not speak to anybody through Signal, nor do I speak to anybody through Telegram. If you are not speaking to me on WhatsApp and it's this voice, reacting to your questions, or if you're not speaking to me in a chat room that I have set up and sent you the link to, then you're not chatting with me at all. You're chatting with AI and you're chatting with a con artist. So please, everybody, do not give anybody money who's asking for it through any social media platform, especially through Telegram. That's where all the con artists are. I refuse to use Telegram for that reason. Chantal, you ready to move forward? Okay, cool stuff. Chantal, you got to email me your phone number so I can give you a call, all right? Because I know you and I have spoken about this. Thank you very much for that. Wealthy Peasant, how much for a new corporation and a holding company? Corporations, holding companies, they're the exact same thing. So we do a flat rate of $14.50 Canadian plus HST. That gets the corporation registered, and that gets us making the phone call to the CRA on your behalf to get your GST or HST number filed or registered. But we do not register HST or GST numbers if it's going to be a holding company. You got to tell us in advance, is it a holding company or is it for commerce? By the way, on TikTok, I only see 16,000 likes. We are at the 1 hour and 11-minute mark, everybody. Come on. We got to get two fingers. Let's get the likes going, everyone. Come on. Get it going. It's free to like my stuff. Same thing over here. Earlier in the show, you guys are putting the flames up. So could you guys get your fingers going? And if you're over here on Rumble, right about there, hit the thumbs up, please. All of it helps immensely. We want as many people out there as possible to hear what I have to say about taxes. So Armas Dantes, if you need a corporation registered, kevinjjohnston.com. My name, Kevin J. Johnston with the T.com. If it's not kevinjjohnston.com, then you're on someone else's website. They are a con artist. Do not give them any money. Okay. So anybody who wants to sell me a corporation, just type in kevinjjohnston.biz. That goes straight to the form where you can tell us what all your corporate debts are. And then from there, we can just take over your corporate debt. Mitch says, I know a lot of business owners that I could refer to you. I emailed you and messaged you on Insta. Can you have a look? I think you get a lot of business through your referral program. Yeah, you know, Mitch, we got a hell of a referral program. We absolutely do. And again, for everybody out there who wants to communicate with me through DMs on social media, I rarely get to them. Now, I did just this weekend hire a kid to go through my DMs. And all he's going to do is he's going to copy and paste an answer to all your, like actually it's going to be one standard email. It's going to be about that long, and it's going to have links to my website that tell you what page to go to for everything. Because I really need to steer everybody away from the DMs on social media. Please use the website. All right, who's next? Who is next? You only need a holding corporation, everybody, if you've got a house that you want to put property into. If you've got a couple of really valuable cars, you put those into a separate numbered corporation. If you've got gold and silver and really, really, really big life insurance policies, put those in numbered corporations. Farmland, put into another corporation. A cottage, another corporation, and so on. You should have nothing in your name. Nothing should be in your name. Kevin asks, are you ever going to renounce your Canadian citizenship? What do you think the advantages are of keeping it? Well, the more communist it gets, the less of an advantage it is. Canada right now is the joke all around the world. Even the banks here in Panama consider Canada a joke. Will there be any advantage to it? I don't think so. And the Canadian government is probably going to end up changing the laws in the future to want to do what the Americans do, and that's tax you no matter where you are in the world. At that point, just get rid of it. I would just get rid of it. It's gone. For those of you who have my videos ending, it is not me ending the video. In fact, right now is only 10:15 p.m. I've got 45 minutes left to go. It is not me ending the video. It might be your app crashing. I don't know. I'm not there to see what's going on. Armas Dante says he wants to trademark his name. Yeah, do it. Why would you not do it? Absolutely, you should. Would I advise a Panama relocation? Well, I mean, if you're looking for a better life, if you're looking for an affordable life, if you want to be away from the LGBTQ and Black Lives Matter and the extreme far left and all the far left media out there and everybody whose souls are empty and crushed, the misery of Canada, the cold, yeah, Panama is probably the best. Yeah, not probably. It is the best choice in Latin America. It's the most advanced out of all of them and has the best value for your money. Absolutely the best value for it. I think I told you guys about this. I saw a movie, that Superman movie, on opening day on those Ultra D-Box, super comfortable VIP chairs. I sit back like this. I had my feet up. The waiter brought caramel popcorn to me. Yeah, it was remarkable. $6. So the popcorn was $4. I don't think that evening cost me anything more than $12. That includes the Uber, by the way. The Uber was less than $3. So it was a cheap night out. I'm a cheap date. I took myself out on a date to see an awful movie, but in a great movie theater for less than $13 with all the change and whatnot. It was great. Allson asks, since I haven't filed my T5018 in 4 years under a sole proprietorship, what will open up a can of worms trying to register a numbered corp under my name? All right, so Allson, what I would do for your personal taxes there, that's an easy one. I would put your personal taxes down at a monumental loss because you're running a sole proprietorship. Then you would cancel the sole proprietorship's GST number or HST number and just register a corporation. There's no flags that go up when you open up a corporation, by the way. None whatsoever. In fact, they like it when you open up corporations because they are perceiving more revenue coming in from that corporation. Oh, Mike, for those who are trying to book a consultation on my site, we opened up some on Monday and they sold out in 15 minutes. But on Monday, we're going to change it up a little bit there. We're going to have a lot of half-hour sessions going. See, I don't think an hour is necessary for a lot of people. When you come into the meeting, usually what ends up happening is people want to tell me for like the first 10 minutes of our meeting that they've been watching the show forever and they like that one episode, that thing I said that time where that guy was there. Yeah, if you put the hero worship aside, that's a full 10 minutes so we can go straight into your tax problem. So the half hours and a couple more 1 hour sessions are going to be available this coming Monday for sale, probably in the morning. So jump in and grab yourself a consultation time. How can you hire me to be my accounting team? Well, I would start with getting a consultation. We're going to open the consultations up. Okay, very good. I'm just going to look at your questions here. Can you confirm if our taxes can be completed? Trina, send me a private email on that, please. I don't want to talk about your tax file publicly. It's no one else's business. Canola Girl says, CRA gave me until July 31st. Guy was gone today, asked for an extension, hasn't called. I filled out your forms. Okay, very good. So the CRA will always say, there will be consequences if you don't do what I say by this date. Nah. They can't act on that particular date. For the CRA, it's all threats. We still want to act on what they are threatening you about, but it's not going to be that day. I'm trying to understand the level of panic that there is out there. Some loser from the CRA sends you a letter, and many of you do not associate loserism with this individual. You think this person is important and you have to do what they say. No, he's a loser. Just like bylaw officers in Canada are losers. When they say, I need you to stand over there, I need you to go away and leave me alone. That's all. I ignore them. I'm not going to do what a pumped up security guard says just because it says bylaw on his shoulder. A bylaw officer is not important. A CRA representative or employee is a loser and is not important. I don't do what cops say either. When cops start asking questions, I just tell them, guys, every cop in Canada, you guys know who I am, and every cop in Canada knows who my lawyer is, call him. Not interested in this conversation. I just don't feel like talking to government employees. I'm not going to cooperate. I don't like the government of Canada. And you know, it's funny that judges in Canada, they all say, you know, Mr. Johnston's anti-government. Well, no, it's not anti-government. If the government was run by intellectuals like myself, for example, I would love government because things would actually get done. But government in Canada is run by cowards and very weak individuals, hardcore radical feminists, and hardcore radical leftists. Like, radicals run the government. Of course, I'm anti-radical. I don't like the far left, and I don't like the far right. I'm not interested in extremism on either side of the argument. I'm interested in centrism, slightly right of center, mind you. And I do appreciate fiscal responsibility, and I certainly appreciate modesty. I'm not interested in seeing naked people walking around in public, and I don't need to see people wearing scantily clad clothing in public to be happy. In fact, it doesn't make me happy. I think this person here is desperate for attention. We need to have some decorum, which many of us no longer have. I'm into that type of conservatism. But the Canadian government doesn't like that I'm into that kind of conservatism because they all want to be freaks and they want me to appreciate their freakism. Nah, it's not going to happen. Absolutely not. Back to your questions here. El Salvador. Yes, I am heading over to El Salvador. I'm hoping to get there for December because I'd like to see what's going on there from an investment standpoint. I've never been. Okay. So Jay says, what's CRA doing? Will you honor our agreement? Of course. Ladies and gentlemen, I always honor my agreements. What I'm saying is because the CRA will not be addressing personal or corporate taxes from 2022 backwards until March. They have announced it. That's not my announcement. That's their announcement. We are still going to finish all the open jobs. We're not taking on new personal taxes until the AI system is running, and we're not taking on any more corporate income tax files. Instead, we're just buying everybody's corporations from them. It's cheaper for you by a lot, and it's faster for us because we can get the whole deal done in 5 days. Like, why would you not want that? Think that through, everybody. Life says, Carney must have been making a deal, except he was hugging those dudes in Vancouver completely. Okay. Mark Carney, he's been put in place to destroy Canada, just like he destroyed the United Kingdom. But Trump's not going to put up with his nonsense. So Carney's government is not going to get anything done. Thank you, Uncle Trump. Okay, so for everybody who wants a half-hour consultation, I'll make sure that they are available this coming Monday. But get on my website Monday morning and grab your consultation time. It'll be done through the Calendly system, so you can actually go click and pick your time. Just checking your questions here. When the CRA assesses your taxes, you can fill out a form to object. I highly recommend that everybody object to everything that the CRA says. If it's not in your favor, object to it. You have to object. Yeah, the CRA, they're going to, remember, the CRA is not putting liens on your home. They're getting certificates against you, the individual, and registering the certificate. But as soon as I wipe out your tax debt, the certificate is no longer valid and the lien has to go away. Consultation fees, everybody, $9.95 right now for the hour. And I believe it is going to be $600 for the half hour consultations. And if you're going to sell me a corporation, by the time that consultation is complete, then we take the entire consult fee and move it towards the corporate purchase fee. All right, there you go. You got to get a corporation. So Armas Dante says, do you get one in Canada or Panama? Whenever somebody wants to hide money in Canada, it's okay to hide money inside of Canada. We just have to make sure that we're doing it through a holding company. And then you can bring your money down here to Panama where it will be safe. Simulation says, can you explain to the people the difference between the way you set up a corporation and the way somebody else would set it up? Well, we do it the same day. And then I'll sit with you in the chat room and explain to you how it is you can never pay tax again utilizing that same corporation. All of a sudden is asking, is it better to go to an Alberta numbered corp or to Wyoming? An Alberta numbered corporation is great because you can utilize the services of Bow Valley Credit Union, and then your Alberta corporation can be owned by your Wyoming corporation. Yes, you can set all of that up. It's not a problem at all. Let's check out the Rumble room here. What do we got going on? Oh, wow. Rumble's really on fire. Vic is asking, if a property gets transferred to a corporation, how can I renew my mortgage? By keeping your mouth closed that you've moved the property, but also by making sure you never miss a single solitary payment ever. They like to renew mortgages that the people have been religiously paying on. So just keep paying and you're going to be fine. CRF Mixer. How do they know what I would owe if I haven't filed? Do they get reports from the clients I work for and charge GST to? No, they do not get those kinds of reports. The only report they would get would be a T4 from your employer or a T4A if you're on commission from your employer, or if you've got a really crappy accountant, a T5, which would be a dividend payment, which I highly recommend you never, ever allow an accountant to do. Dividends are terrible. Okay. Ferrari, did you have a question? I'm just looking to see Ferrari here. Ferrari, are you trying to book a consultation? Is that what you're asking me? I'm not quite understanding. All right. So for anybody who's wondering about corporations, the way that it works is this. If you open up a holding company for the purposes of holding a house, it is best to have me not only book or register the corporation for you, but also to write the corporate bylaws for you. All right. The corporate bylaws dictate who the shareholders are and who gets the house in the case of your death. The corporate bylaws, if the corporation owns your house, are superior to the will. So nobody can contest corporate bylaws because I'm going to write them for you. You're going to agree to them, then you're going to swear them in. And at that point, you've registered it with the courts. It's a registered document. So you could state that I got 5 kids. My house is going to be split 5 ways when I die. You could say that. Or you could say, I got 5 kids and one's a burnout drug addict and he gets nothing. And the other 4 get 25% each. You could do that. You could state anything you want. You could say that not only do your kids get some, but your grandkids get some of the house. Like you could put any rules you want within it, and the kids, your offspring, can't fight over it. They cannot contest the bylaws because they're just bylaws. It's not a will. You can contest a will. You cannot contest the bylaws. Okay, so Forever Angel, you're saying something here. Let me just go back. Sorry, Angel. The Angel, look, guys, don't get upset. All right, please try your best not to get upset. When you're asking questions, and as everybody else asks them, your question disappears. So you're going to say that I'm ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. I'm answering as many questions as I can, as quickly as I can. So Forever Angel, I'm looking to see where your first entry was. Or is it Ferrari? Okay, so if you're on Rumble, Rumble is very difficult to see. Put the word question in capital letters in Rumble, please, and then ask your question, and I'm going to see that. Now, also, you got to keep in mind that Rumble does not operate like YouTube, so I can't just click on your user identification in Rumble and send you a private message. You can do that on YouTube, but you can't do that on Rumble, not yet. So everyone, Tell the Rumble guys to please get their act together and make it more of a communicative platform as opposed to just a video platform. Is there any way for the CRA to tie your corporation to your personal debt? They try that from time to time. If you sue them for tort fraud, then no, all of that will disappear. But you got to be willing to go the distance, everybody, and sue the CRA. I finally got a couple of my clients to do it. More of you should be doing it. Millions of you should be doing it, by the way. Truth Seeker says, if I don't claim crypto, will the government know? No, they won't, unless you're dealing with a Canadian exchange like ShakePay or Coinbase. Who else? WonderFi, any of those? The old Coinberry, they're not around anymore. BitBuy, any of those? Yes, but who cares? Let me do the owl thing. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that there's crypto there. It doesn't matter that it's in your name, because you're not going to answer any questions. Let's say you refuse to put that on your tax return. Let's say, for argument's sake, that someone calls you from the CRA and saying, hey, we know you have crypto. What do you say? Dude, I'm exercising my right to remain silent. Piss off. Don't ever call me again. Hang up the phone. Conversation is over. B. Yuchin's asking, why are dividends terrible? Dividends are terrible because there are so few rules written about them that the CRA can and often will tax them as high as 48%. Stupid accountants will tell you that your corporation made too much money. So let's give you a personal dividend and tax that. Well, now you go from paying one tax to paying seven in total. Accountants, most of them are idiots. They really are. Do not allow your accountant to do dividends. Not ever. How do you setting up corporations without a SIN number? No problem. Name, email address, phone number. A corporation can be the director of another corporation, just for the record, everybody. And an American corporation can be the director of a Canadian corporation. The CRA can't stop you from doing that. Okay. What's the best way to pay yourself from your corporation? Not to pay yourself from your corporation. Just to live out of your corporate bank account. It's your money. Keep your mouth closed about the fact that you're pocketing all of your own money. Why do any of you want to do tax returns? Clause 150 of the Income Tax Act says you shall do a tax return, not you must do a tax return. And the Income Tax Act does not have the word punishment within it. So there's no punishment if you don't do one. The word shall does not mean must in civil law. Please remember that. You sold your corporation, but you're still getting letters to the CRA. Did you sell that to me or someone else? Let me know. Why not split income for spouses? Why report it in the first place? Splitting income simply means that you're telling the CRA that two of you are married. There's no advantage to that. In fact, what you're doing, Lori, is you're screwing yourself out of the ability for both of you to get the child tax benefit credit. That's right. You both can do that, but not if you list yourselves as married. Remember what I said about the right to remain silent? Right? Exercise that right. Do not tell anybody you're married. It's nobody's business. How many of you out there have ever heard me tell you a girlfriend's name or a lover's name or my ex-wife's name or anything else? It's never happened. I don't tell people anything like that. I've never had my kids on my show. I don't have my friends on my show. I don't have my relatives on my show because it's nobody's business. You should not be telling anyone that you're married, especially the CRA. Do I still have to pay a capital gain if I give my second house to my son? No. Remember what we talked about this? No. Do not fill out line 12,700 on your tax return. No. Give your kid the house and shh for the rest of your life. Shh. Quiet. You do not need a SIN number to open up a corporation. That's correct. If you don't have a tax return, South Singh says, if you don't have a tax return, either corporation or personal, the banks will not give you loans. Well, the banks are rarely giving out loans these days. In fact, it's better just to go with a private lender because they're only between 1% and 2% higher on the interest rate and less headache. It really is. I'm sick of the banks myself. Canadian banks are the worst because the Americans and most countries have capital-based lending. You got a good idea, you get some capital. Canada is asset-based banking. So if you don't have a house, you don't get a loan. But you need a loan to get a house. It's that catch-22 conundrum nonsense. And on top of all that, people who work for Canadian banks are not even born in Canada. They're robots, they're drones, like excessively low IQs. I can't, the older I get, the less patient I am with stupid people. And it's horrible that financial institutions hire exceptionally low IQ people to do that job. We're talking about money here. Smart people should be working with money, not dumb people. I'm sick of Canadian banks for that reason, period. But then I'm told, diversity is our strength. No, it's not. And we're a multicultural society. You have to like them. Yeah. No, I don't. I absolutely do not. Period. I hate Canadian banks with all of my heart. The wealthy peasant. Now, okay, guys, the calendar on my website is working, but we have not put the dates in that I'm available yet because I have not looked at my own personal calendar, which is why I'm saying this coming Monday, you'll be able to buy some consultation times. We're going to make a bunch of them available, a bunch. Life by the Dank says, my accountant said that whoever bought my corporation hasn't changed the GST info over. I sold it. Sorry, to who, Life? Who did you sell that to? That's important to know. Let me know. Didn't they change the wording from must now? Nope, not in the Income Tax Act. It still says shall. It still says it. But you got to keep this in mind. If the Income Tax Act said I must do something, I'm still going to tell them where to go. If somebody is not paying me to do something, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it, period. Nor should you. All right. You know what I'm thinking? I am getting people asking me, can we call that guy again? Yeah, let's call this guy again. Let's see if he answers the phone. This should be funny. We're calling him right now. This is that guy, Supreme. I should be telling people not to listen to me online. Come on, buddy. Answer the phone. Answer the phone. Come on, dude. Don't be chicken. Come on. Oh, okay. So,
Hi, you've reached Supreet. Please leave a message.
You chickened out.
At the tone, please record your message. When you are finished recording, you may hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey, Supreet, Kevin J. Johnston here. Yeah, I'm just trying to get a hold of you here. We're live on my show, the Tax and Money Show, which runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on freedomreport.ca. We watched your video on my show tonight about you telling the public that I am incorrect in my statement that you do not have to report capital gains. In fact, you're telling people that the CRA is going to get you. So I'm wondering if I could invite you onto my show next week, free of charge, absolutely free of charge. Come on the show and we can debate it. What I'll do is I'll bring forward the Income Tax Act and you can do the exact same thing and we can debate live about capital gains and let the audience decide who's right and who's wrong. If you want to get a hold of me, you can go ahead and call the number that you see on your screen here. And I am looking very forward to that call. Also, you've seen my TikTok channel. You know how to get a hold of me on my website. Looking very forward to talking to you. There we go. Okay, so simulation says I'm going to start talking hockey lingo to you until you get me a consultation. All right, you can buy one on Monday. I promise. I promise you can buy one on Monday. Can you pay your children under 18 to avoid some taxes? Okay, well, B. Uchin, if you've got a corporation, keep your mouth closed about what you earn. It's your money. Like this whole thing about everyone's in a hurry to do tax returns. Everyone's in a hurry. Do you think that the CRA's got the brain power and the manpower to check every single corporation gets registered every single day. Thousands of corporations get registered every single day. They don't police what you do. They only criticize and scrutinize what you tell them. So everybody, silence. All right, let's check more questions here. Annie Nickens says, my issue is I sold 2 houses. One lived in for 4 years, one for 1 year. I'm getting a penalty. I don't mind paying the 1 year, which I did, but they're still asking for, okay. But again, Annikins, what is it that you told them? That's the question I've got. What did you tell them? Who did your taxes and what did they say? We got to know all this stuff, because if they filled anything out on line 12,700 on the tax return, did they put the expenses in like what we talked about earlier in the show today? You know, but don't forget, I told everybody that when we are doing your capital gains expenses here, that we are going to be looking at sausaging your carpets, dragon egging your basement, dark fishing your kitchen, hydro dogging your living room, and feng shuiing your entire house. These are all the expenses that we can put forward on your house to ensure that you do not pay a capital gain. So your accountant probably screwed up and did not put your expenses down. And if anybody knows what hydro dogging is, please let me know. Okay. All right. And for those who are wondering about ChatGPT, you got to remember what ChatGPT is. It's good because it'll take your thoughts and organize it for you. And it'll take accurate information and it'll give you an accurate readout of what you're looking for, but based on what it finds and also based on its own logic center. You got to remember, it's left-wingers who coded this thing. So you're going to get the left-wing perspective on everything to do with ChatGPT, which is why ChatGPT is going to tell you that you should pay. Not you must, but you should pay. It says that because the CRA says you should. And whenever the ChatGPT program is showing results to do with taxes, it shows you the source where it pulled it from, which is the Canada.ca website. And that would not be an accurate place to go to find ways to beat the CRA, because the CRA will not publish on its own website how to defeat them. So ChatGPT, take what it says with a grain of salt when it's trying to convince you that you have to pay tax. It's only doing what the CRA says. It's not yet thinking for itself. Anakin says, I told them nothing, but they said that you live there. Okay, so you have to object to that. How does the CRA know where you live? If you look, everybody, you know how much trouble all of you cause for yourselves when you tell the CRA what you make? All of you who have tax trouble for one reason and one reason only. Because you filled out a tax return and sent it in. You snitched on you. And the CRA loves the fact that they don't have any laws that can force them into your front door to get your taxes done at gunpoint. You chose to do this. So please, everybody, stop being afraid. Understand you got duped, okay? The CRA lied to you. They duped you. Now get angry and get even. Don't whine about it. Get even. Object to everything. We have new ways. We're going to be writing our own AI system. In fact, we are writing it now. Our own AI is going to help you through these things. But for the love of everything holy and unholy, stop fearing the CRA. Start getting angry with what they do. Stop being on the defensive. Go on the attack and stop snitching on yourselves. Please stop doing that. Aramis Dantes, after I set up a corporation, can I hire myself to my own son who registered a corporation? Again, you see right there, you're thinking about ways to fill out a tax return. You're thinking about ways to screw yourself. Register a corporation, make money, keep your mouth closed about it, end of story. I might go to court at the end of the year. Is the court as bad as the CRA? Court for what? I need more information. It's very difficult to scroll in Instagram. I can't stand doing it. How do you even argue with the CRA? Appeal everything. You got to appeal absolutely everything, everybody. And when you appeal, you're demanding a court date when you do so. Like, you want a court date in tax court, which we don't really want. We're just using that as a time buyer. We're buying time to be able to redo your taxes. Am I married? No, I am quite single. Thank you very much. And believe me, single is good because I am completely and totally focused on my career. It is awesome. Okay, so Mike Peterson, for everybody out there that wants to get a hold of me, it cannot be on social media. I don't have time. You have to use my website. Please use the contact form on the website. Geeker says, let's say hypothetically you made $500K USD in crypto. What would I do to avoid the CRA? Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up about it. Shut up. Don't brag to your friends. Don't tell the CRA you made money. Shut up. They don't even know what crypto is. You think the people that work there are smart enough to understand what crypto is? They barely understand real estate. They don't understand crypto. Just remain silent about it. Mitch says, I know keeping your mouth shut is key. Are you aware of ways that the CRA could be monitoring us? Do they watch your bank accounts and do they spy on us? No, they don't have time. They don't have the brain power. They don't have the infrastructure for it. They use Windows XP there. They use outside consultants to help them because they're so stupid. No, the CRA are a useless bunch of individuals. Okay, look, guys, no, I'm not a financier. I don't get people money to buy cars or computers. And I absolutely do not raise venture capital for anybody's company. If I was going to raise venture capital, it would be for me and what I am doing, because what I'm doing makes money. I'm not taking any chances. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I do not invest in green energy because the planet is not warming up. Everything is fine. I do not invest in solar because solar cells, even Michael Moore, the far left nut, even he showed you that solar simply is incapable of powering entire cities. Solar is great to have on your own house. It'll power your house, but I'm not investing in it. I would just eventually one day get a house and buy solar panels. I have no interest in any green energy programs out there. I would invest in private nuclear energy. That I would do. If there's going to be a private nuclear reactor out there selling power to the grid, I would invest in that. But no, I don't invest in venture capital at all. I'm in Canada, trying to sell my crypto to pay off my house mortgage with a Canadian bank. Well, if you're going to sell your crypto, you got to deal with crypto dealers who will pay you cash for your crypto, and then just remain silent about your earnings and then pay your house off. We buy crypto, by the way. Right now, we're buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP. We're buying those. So if you want to sell your crypto, get a hold of me first, and we buy it. There are actually going to be some spots available in August, September, October, and November when we open up the floor for people to get consultations on Monday. It's coming, everybody. It's coming. Scooter's asking, hi, why does the government want to know what your spouse makes when you do taxes? So they can tax you both, which is why you should never state that you are married. You're not legally obligated to tell anyone you're married. You're not legally obligated to tell anybody what you do in bed, how often you do it in bed, or with whom. You have no obligations to share your intimate, private life with anybody. Why would you tell the CRA, hi, I'm married? What do you think you're going to get? Free condoms or something? It's to punish you. It's to tax you. Every question they ask is not to help you. It's to hurt you and to help them to your money. period. I haven't done 2023 or 2024 taxes yet. Can I still get OAS when I turn 65 this year? Yeah, but one of the things that I would do is I would put your taxes down at the poverty line so that you can just go ahead and get it with no stress or so on. Yeah, Marilyn, you're right. My life is private. You guys ever notice how I've never been on my show saying, hey, guys, I went to the bar last night. I picked up 4 bronze. I brought them back to the house. I was just telling you, and we did this stuff in the corner. Have you ever heard me tell stories like that? Because even if it happened, I'm not telling you. It's not your business. I'm here to talk about money and commerce and taxes. I'm not a part of any clan or any clique. I'm not interested in any of that. I want to make money. So I don't come out here and tell you stories about my intimate details. And I'm going to tell all of you the same thing. Stop doing that as well. Being married it should be sacred, don't you think? Everything inside your own house should be sacred to you, to your entire family. And you remember like the 1970s, which I do miss, by the way, from the standpoint of people would ring your doorbell because they just wanted to say hi to you. They just wanted to see you. They weren't coming inside your house to fish around and see what they could steal or to see what they could snitch to somebody about. They just came to see you. Now, everybody wants to ring your door and look inside your door like this to see what you got. And the CRA wants you to tell them everything you own and everything about you so they can punish you by taxing you for it. The police want to know everything about you. Remember that moron Mario earlier in the show saying, I've been audited twice in 3 months. I got nothing to hide. I cooperate. You have everything in the world to hide. So everybody out there, stop telling the CRA you're married. Stop it now. Toxic masculinity. We need hyper masculinity. We really remember that video I did 4 years ago on hyper masculinity and why it's a really good thing. Go to my BitChute channel and watch it. You need to hear everything I've got to say on that. The more hyper masculine men there are in a society, the richer that society is going to be. Just how it is. Hyper aggressive men make money. They're driven. They're driven to succeed. They are driven to get things done. We need hyper masculinity back. I don't know why people are so afraid of masculinity. It's wonderful. Oh, by the way, I'm certainly not afraid of mine. And I got a blood test done yesterday. I checked one thing only, testosterone. I am 50% above the level of every man my age on the average. There you go. Wonder why I'm so friggin' hopped up all the time? It's testosterone. It's not sugar. It's testosterone. And I love it. I love it. It is possible, everybody, to be a ghost forever. If you've got teenage kids, have them never, ever, ever do their first tax return. They could go through their entire lives never having done taxes. It's the first tax return that screws you. That's when you've signed the contract with the CRA. Marilyn says, and man, this is a good point. This is fair. Masculinity is great as long as they treat their women great. Okay, Marilyn, there's a flip side to that. The lady's got to treat the man great too. You got to understand that. A man will always reciprocate what you give him. That's just male nature. But this is not a dating show, so let's not go down that road. Alrighty. Am I based in Panama? Yes, sir, I am. But I have offices in Mississauga, Windsor, Calgary, and Edmonton, and one in BC now. Why does anyone need a consultation when you're not doing taxes? Well, we didn't say that we're not doing taxes. I said we're putting them on hold. We're not going to do them right now because we're building an AI system that will do them. And I'm still waiting to see what the CRA is going to do. But there are a lot of you out there that don't just have tax problems. You've got corporate problems. You've got payroll problems. You have financial problems. We're talking to everybody about what their problems are. There's still a solution. If you have tax problems, there are solutions. You see, now that we've got the CRA changing policies, we're going to change what we're doing. And I'm going to announce next week what we are doing to counter what the CRA is announcing this week. Relax, we're here. I'm always ahead of the curve. When you have a corporation and many people on payroll, do you have to issue T4s and file the master? Yeah, but that's what I do now. We have a payroll company and we do payroll for all of our clients. So if you don't feel like doing payroll anymore, let me take it over. And then I issue the T4s and the T4As in February of the following year. And your corporation will never have source deduction problems again. Not ever. Let me go to the Rumble room here and have a look. Okay. If CRA stopped garnishing my wages through my employer and gave me a measly $6,000 for a return and withheld $25,000, all I have to get you to do is redo at least 17 years to get all my money back. Well, yes, but you could also have a lot of years where you've got a massive loss as well. For everybody out there who's wondering how we can get your employers to stop taking away source deductions, you got to go on contract. You know, there's no advantage to your boss putting you on payroll, by the way. None. It's better for the employer, if they care about tax write-offs, to put you on contract, have you charge GST, and they can write the GST off and then write off your entire salary, because it would be an invoice for services rendered. By the way, there is no law that says that you cannot be on contract if you're working full-time for somebody. That's not a law. That's a CRA policy. We don't work for the CRA, so their policies are irrelevant. And the only time that the CRA ever knows that you don't make your own hours is if you tell them in an audit. Never cooperate with an auditor. Auditors have no power in Canada. None. Don't cooperate with them. I get rid of auditors for $2,500. We send in all the legal letters. I let them call me up and tell me, well, we don't have to do what you say and so on. No problem. I get the private investigators out. Boom, we find out where they live and we serve them at home. That's how we do it. And if the auditor wants to continue to be a pain in the ass, no problem. We put contractors' liens on their homes and then sue them. And if they really get on my nerves, we can publish their home address. It's legal to dox. If you sue them for $1, yeah, you can sue them for $1. You can put a whole bunch of egregious commentary down inside the lawsuit. And as soon as it's filed with the courts, it's a public document. And now their home address is available for the whole world to see. Yeah, completely legal. Don't dox people unless you sue them. There we are. My accountant says I can't make my employees contractors. Your accountant is an idiot and a moron and a loser, and they're going to destroy you. Tell your accountant I said, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but it involves what's in the toilet right now and where he can put what's in the toilet right now. You know what I'm talking about. I hate guys like that, by the way. You should never listen to an accountant who tells you you can't do something. He's an idiot. There's no law. Tell him to quote the law. He's quoting CRA policy. That's all. All righty. What is the CRA announcing this week? They're going to be officially announcing their approach to personal taxes and what they're going to be doing throughout the rest of the year here. And we have to wait to see what that announcement's going to be before we make our decision on the new strategy. But remember this, every time the CRA changes policy, we're the first ones to know. I'm the first one to tell you. Out of all the accounting people out there, I'm the first one to come out here and tell you what they're doing. And then we change strategies to defeat them every single time. Okay. Cloth Studio. Okay, let me say something sexist now. Women accountants are the worst for that because they make all of their decisions about the CRA based on fear. Yeah, I don't make any decisions based on fear. period. After setting up a corporation, how does one get around the GST PST that clients require to do business? We register a corporation for you. We get you a GST or PST number or both, or an HST number, and you go and do business and you charge it and you keep it for life because you're never doing your first tax return. Get to keep all your money. And yes, Marilyn, the CRA are a mafia. Okay, so Jay says, light me up because you've got a question. I'm not too sure what that means, everybody. Okay, 1 second there. All right. I'm going to look at Rumble. There's one more I'm going to answer on the Rumble, and then we got to cut the transmission there. How do I get a credit card from my numbered corporation? I'd like to pay for your tax services with it and other business expenses. So whenever you open up a brand new corporation in Canada, what you can do is dump a lot of money into the bank account, a lot, and show them big contracts that you have. You know what I mean? All right, good stuff. And when you show them the big contract you just got, everybody, they will probably issue you a credit card with a small limit like $5,000. And then just keep asking them to up the limit, and they typically will do it. Absolutely, they'll do it. Okay, everyone, we are now well past the 2-hour mark here. It's been a great show, very informative. If you're on TikTok and Instagram, stick around for a few more minutes here. But if you're on Rumble and DLive and Restream and YouTube and Twitch and all the others, we got to get going here. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss taxes, crypto, finance, money, moving your money to Panama, getting out of Canada, getting rich because money is awesome. And of course, I'm awesome. You're awesome for being here, everybody. Thank you for doing so. I'll see you in a week. Good night.